Hello, hello. Welcome back to Trading Weekly once again. It's the 12th of October, so we're almost halfway through October. How's your weekend been, Kay?
It's been amazing, honestly. I mean, I think everybody already knows what happened on Friday, and I've been posting on Twitter since then, so you can pretty much sense how my mood would be just going through my timeline.
Yeah, of course. I thought I'd actually start with the chart on the screen there. You can see the big dramatic candle down Friday, which we'll get into a little bit later. But first, obviously, we'll jump into the beginning parts of this live stream. So obviously, subscribe to Trading Weekly on YouTube, as you can see on the screen there. And the next one is, of course, we're just a couple of guys looking at charts, giving our perspectives, and we like to gain kind of ideas as well. So make sure you put your ticker requests in the comments as soon as possible because we can get to them a little bit earlier. So the sooner you put your requests in, the sooner we can get to obviously having a look at them. And obviously a massive thank you to Wolf as well for letting us use the platform. We couldn't do it without you. We really, really appreciate the support. And without further ado, should we jump into the slideshow?
Let's do this.
Sweet, let me get that set up. Trading wise, how was your week overall?
I think, barring Friday, I think the week went pretty well. I think even for Friday, because of this massive pullback, a lot of my covered calls did not get called out. So I think overall, I'm a happy camper. I think it also presents a lot of opportunity from a long term perspective for some of those stocks that you wanted to get in and
Hmm.
you didn't want to get in at those prices. One of those stocks we will cover at least at part of my pick for this week, and I think this presents a very good opportunity. While we'll talk about this, in the coming, you know, in the next hour or so.
Yeah, awesome. So we've got a couple of comments already. Man Ram once again. Thank you for coming back once again. Netflix, Rubric, Palantir, of course. We'll take a look at those. And of course, we've got Justin back as well. We appreciate your continuous return. QQQ, that will be in one of the beginning slides, but we have the weekly up. Maybe we can add the daily to the first, the first audience request just to kind of get a bit more detail into that. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be quite a few requests for bigger names this week, given obviously the reaction we had in the market on Friday. Well, there you go. My entire face has just gone red because it's the screen.
You're getting that red therapy, like
Yeah, red light therapy. I should be in bed in 20 minutes. Yeah, there's definitely a red kind of tone to the screen here. We've got a comment here from up or down by end of week. You can make that judgment with our commentary throughout the stream today. So stick around, get our thoughts on some of the charts and obviously where we are thinking. I think it's going to be quite evident for what I'm thinking a bit later on. But yeah, I mean, where do we start on here? So we'll start with just some kind of the bigger names. We've got Nvidia, Apple, Google, Meta, Amazon, all floating around 3%. So it's interesting to see they kind of all in tandem with each other. Obviously, Tesla, you've kind of got on the right side there, down almost 7%, and Microsoft only down a modest 1%. They had a pretty good start to the week. And obviously, with the investment in AMD from OpenAI, we've got the 25% increase there on the bottom left, which was lovely to see in my portfolio at least. So it was good to see a little bit of green towards the end of the week, at least in one name. Anything else jumping off the screen here for you?
No, I think pretty much. I think we'll probably beat this like a dead horse already. I think we should jump onto the next slides and really go into the SPY and QQQ. I think that's what folks are probably want to hear what's going on.
I think it's worth actually bringing up the VIX as well. I meant to bring it up in the slideshow, but I completely forgot. I had thought about that tomorrow, this morning, but yeah, I forgot to add it into the slideshow. But maybe we can add that into because it looks really interesting
You
from a
know,
long-term perspective.
I
Yeah,
think I might not have updated it. Let me just double check the wix. Give me 1 second. I think I
I'm
might.
pretty sure it's a lot higher than that. It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
25-ish.
think I missed updating that one. Let me check. Wix. Yes, actually, I'm sorry. This one was 2166. And
2166, fantastic. No worries, I've just changed that.
thank you. And then
Live in stream.
live and stream. And then put to call was 0.62. So because it's an average of 5 days, even though because of the pullback of 3 days, it's not going to change that number that drastically. But you could see that last week our wix was 1650 something, and now it's 2166.
Are these numbers wrong as well
No,
then?
those are also. Ah, man, did I miss updating them?
They must be wrong because we went up this week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, sorry, I probably missed updating this. So that was down to minus 2.56%. See, we're doing this for a change. minus 2.56, and minus 2.85 on QQQ.
2.85.
Yeah, 2.85 and 2.56. Yeah. So,
Okay. But yeah, we'll get the VIX chart up a bit later on as well, because that's looking very interesting from a long-term point of view.
okay.
We'll get that back up on the screen, ready and waiting for you now. There you go. So a couple of minus ones there. So not quite 3%. We had a 3% day on Friday. So we must have gone up a little bit on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to kind of compensate that a little bit. But yeah, it's looking interesting. We've got key events this week. We've got core PPI, which is always a good mover. The continuous China drama, as Kaye put it on the screen, job of claims and earnings kickoff as well, which I think leads to our next slide. But before we talk about that, we'll talk about the fear and greed index. So the last 2 months, pretty much, we've been sitting at neutral, in
Mhm.
between kind of 45, 55, somewhere there, here, there, and everywhere. One day, and we're down to 29. So you can
Mhm.
see it's a bit more of a short-term thinking in terms of the fear and greed. What are your thoughts at this stage? Do you think you kind of wait until extreme fear, or you kind of go back to neutral at this point, or what are you after?
I think that really depends on Monday. And you could already see that the tone has shifted within the last, I guess, 24 hours from the
Mm.
administration, especially JD Vance comments coming in, and China's comments changing that it's actually not an export ban, it's just a restriction. I mean, commercial products, no problem. Military products, we will. So I think I don't know how they're what they are thinking, what they're doing, and that we shouldn't even worry about those things because we really would not know those details. So forget about that. But I really think that the Monday is key. If there is more conversations or more posts or interviews come out, which are, I think they're already softening the blow a little bit. I really don't think they're going to put 100% tariff, especially November 1, because what's going to happen is it's going to impact the holiday season over here. And there are a lot of races, governor races happening in the US. At least 2 or 3 states are having. So that is going to have a adverse impact. So I really don't think that's going to happen. The tariff is probably going to pulled off, and we'll probably end up with an all-time high. That's my take.
Wow. There you go. So we'll see if that price action materializes throughout the week. And we've got a comment here as well from G-Vog. Welcome back. Lumen. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to that a little bit later on. Okay, we'll add that to the list.
Mhm.
Make sure you keep them coming. The ticker request. I can't find the thing. There it is. Up on the screen there. So yeah, put your ticker request in the comments down below, whether you're on X or YouTube. We'll get to them a little bit later on. We've got a few down already, but we will require definitely a few more. And with that, we'll move on to the next one, which is we're back into earnings seasons, Kay. The banks are kicking us off this week with ASML and TSMC as well, obviously from the semiconductor side of things. Are you ready for earnings season? Could this be
Yeah,
the catalyst that we need?
absolutely. I'm only focused on ASML and TSMC, honestly, because I'm mostly in the AI trade. But the banks are there, right? This is basically the kickoff of the earnings season. Next week we'll start with Netflix most likely, and
Mm.
the big seven, basically big starts off next week.
Yeah, we'll have probably Tesla as well in the next couple of
Yeah,
weeks
exactly.
as well. Interesting to see as well what kind of American Express is doing on the Friday. So that'll be see if people are still spending, which I'm sure they probably are. We'll move on to the charts then. The first couple of charts of the day, as always, is the SPY on the left side. That's a daily chart. And on the right side, we've got QQQ on the weekly chart. Now, I mean, it's hard to kind of start anywhere really in terms of actually analysing this because we do need a few more days of price action, I think, just to kind of see where we are. We might even just bounce straight back up to kind of 650, 664-ish, to get that 20 moving average resistance. Where we go after that, I'm not too sure. But this candle speaks for a lot of things. The last 20 days, 20 trading days have completely been wiped out with one candle. That shouldn't go unnoticed. Yes, we could bounce, of course, but it's going to take a lot to bounce. In the near term, at least, and we might bounce over the next 2 3 weeks. Of course, that kind of generally what happens. You can kind of see it here. But yeah, you alluded to it as well, okay, kind of the kind of bounce aspect of it. But I see if we do get some more negative commentary and we get that PPI report coming a little bit rough, then I can see us breaking this 50 moving average and coming down to 644. That's where I would like it to retest. And I think that actually coincides with the QQQ chart on the right side here. So coming back down to that kind of 575 level.
Mhm.
I think that would be the key levels that I'm looking for downside. We did from I'll let you talk in a second, but if we did almost get to the resistance point of the 620, 619 level that I've drawn on here, and we've had for a few months now on the charts. We didn't quite get there, but of course these lines are not always perfect. You can see that on the screen here. So perhaps that was the resistance really that I was looking for, at least for the slightly mid to long term. What are your thoughts on these charts, then, Kay?
So we kind of touched upon it a little bit, right? So let's keep the geopolitics aside for a second, like the whole tariff situation. You do have the biggest catalyst for the season, which is the earnings coming up. And for at least for a lot of like specifically, let's say called Tesla, right? They had good delivery numbers because of Q3, so most likely their earnings report is going to be pretty phenomenal. Question is, what are they going to do for future guidance? Same thing with all the Max 7s, right? So at this point in time, even if we bounce off the SMA or the 50 SMA at 650, I think the catalyst in the next 2 to 3 weeks may pull the stock back up to the all-time highs. Now, unless now you bring the geopolitics in, right? And then it kind of coincides with November 1. So 2 weeks to November 1, and then you have the earnings, which will be the Max 7 reporting the last week of October. Uh, so so all these different factors are going to continue to keep this more volatile, which means that you will have a higher IV on most of the tickers, and that's what we are hoping for, because we need the volatility to play the earnings. That's what I think is going to happen. That's my thinking.
No, I think the last point there as well, the volume. I brought the volume up on this left side. That volume candle on Friday is insane. And going back to kind of more logical side of things, the candles kind of produce the emotional side of investors. Well, it is emotional on the chart, isn't it? Really. So you see that candle, you think, oh, actually, this could be the start of something. But yeah, a couple of contrarian ideas. Obviously, Kaye's talking about the earnings could pull it back up again. I'm thinking it can probably continue going lower. But I definitely think I'm going to sit on my hands for a few days, maybe till Wednesday, Thursday, just let the data kind of play out, let a few more conversations play out, and then start taking, more swing trades. Day trading is slightly different. I can take that into trade. That's not too bad. But certainly for my swing trades, I'll have to kind of reassess them in a few days' time, let it calm down a bit. Okay, we'll move on to the where to find us section. I'll go first this week. You can find me on X there, at Shaun Trades underscore. I told you I couldn't speak today just before the stream, okay? But I'm trying my best. Here we go. Yeah, you can find me on X. It's daily trading insights around psychology. I do free charts every morning as well before the market opens in terms of what I'm thinking that day or potentially for the rest of the week. And of course, you can find me on YouTube, which is all trading evergreen content. I've got a video coming out next week or the week after. I'm not too sure yet. It's got to be all about how to kind of set your stop losses in the right places, etc. So yeah, where can we find you then, okay?
Well, the same similar as you, Twitter. That's I try to post pretty much daily about the daily content, what's happening in the market. YouTube is where I post the trade ideas, as well as I post the 2026 picks that we'll put together as well. And then on Substack, that's a written format of my thought process, trading ideas, and stuff like that. So a lot of good content coming in Q4. So keep a watch at it then.
Exciting stuff. Certainly been looking at your content, especially everyone on YouTube. It's interesting to see you come back. I miss you on YouTube, Kay. I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
lots
no,
of other
I
people do.
listen, man. I'll be back. It's I did not end it. It's just like I have to pick it back up. Being a little busy as well. So
Yeah, of
hopefully after my
course. Yeah.
trip, I will get back into the routine.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone here as well from Pimp Cess. So that's the right word. Yeah, of course, fantastic. And we've got a comment here as well from Ken. Do you think it's possible Friday was an unwinding of the yen carry? Now, I didn't see much about this. Did you see anything about
I
this,
did
Kay?
not. I did not. But I did go to your link that you sent, and it seems like that this individual is talking about it. This is the first time I'm hearing it, honestly. So we'll have to do a little bit more digging in why he thinks that was the case.
Yeah, I think it was more towards Trump's comments around tariffs, to be honest, at
Yeah,
least in my
I mean,
opinion.
there are also allegations, not allegations, but there are allegations that there was a lot of profits made. So how did people know all this information? So there are a lot of videos on that as well. So
There's always going to be videos and speculation and stuff like that.
exactly.
Nancy Pelosi is one of them, isn't she? How she buys stuff before it goes up to for 300%. Anyway, our past performance. Kay, you won again, 3 weeks in a row. CoreWeave seems to be your lucky stock.
I know.
Um,
This time,
you,
by the way, I just for the audience, I did not choose Core Weave this week deliberately because I was like, okay, this is getting just too easy, right? I keep picking Core Weave and I keep beating you. But anyways, the joke aside, no, but this week's pick is more geared towards taking an opportunity for a swing trade or a long term investing compared to just a trade.
yeah, we'll get into those just a second, but just touching on the weekly performances here. Obviously, Mara was down -7% and CoreWeave was down 3%. So obviously, Kay took that by 4%. Much congratulations, Kate. We'll see what happens next week. This week I've got Tesla and you have got Amazon. So we'll move on to those charts now.
Okay.
I've got Tesla on the screen here. This is the daily chart. And I see further downside just because of the nature of how we've broken this trend line. I've kind of this small trend line I've got broken here. Um, Obviously, we'll see what happens on market open tonight, which is the futures and stuff. And obviously, the market open tomorrow will be very interesting to see if we get any volatility. Um, I've drawn a line from here because I have started a small position on Friday night, which is not like me. I don't take positions over the weekend, but it's a small position, one that I can probably add to. If we were to kind of retreat back up to kind of 430, then I would definitely add there. This is for the short side, remember, and then my stop loss would be placed around 450 above this candle, essentially. I'm looking for first the gap fill, but ultimately the retracement down to 368, which sounds a bit dramatic, but Tesla's very dramatic. And I think that's fair because I think if we come back down here, get a bit of solidarity, come back down to the support resistance line and the trend line, that's a good confluence alongside the volume profile as well. And I'm pretty sure there'll be some moving averages around here, that sort of area, maybe the 200. I'm not too sure. I should have put them on the charts really. But yeah, that's my kind of short thesis for this week slash, for weeks onwards. This stock, if this can happen in a few days, potentially, and I'm here for it. But if we get stopped out, then that's trading. We'll move on to the next one and evaluate the market and take another opportunity. What are your thoughts on this one, Kay?
So I have a little bit of a contrarian view on this one. I think what is happening in Tesla stock, right? The price movement that we had has already taken into account the delivery numbers. So what is that they're going to tell us in the earnings season that is different? Now this is just speculation. I really don't know if they're going to announce this. I did see Robotaxi, the Model Y Robotaxi, and it is a Robotaxi because they actually have that the carving of Robotaxi. Um, Doing rounds in New York City, specifically going towards the JFK, which is the airport. And I saw two or three cars. So are they testing that market, or are they doing testing? Is because we haven't really heard anything, and I even tried to look up, I didn't find any information. So is that announcement coming up for the earnings season? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But if that happens, which means that now they're expanding their Austin from Austin to New York City, which is going to be the most difficult market. And if that happens, we could see the stock again going back up the trend line and making newer highs. Because end of the day, this is right now the car business, has taken a hit. The market share has come down. The EV credit has gone away. So what else is left? They are pivoting away to more being autonomy, robotaxi, robots, and all that stuff, AI. But this could completely fuel the sentiments back to the bullish side. Now this is not taking into account any of the geopolitical stuff that is happening right now. This is just my speculation.
But yeah, good thoughts on the actual business there and potential aspects of it. What are your thoughts on the actual kind of what are the robots called? I remember what they're
Optimus.
called. Optimus,
Optimus.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think people might start be pricing that in soon? Was it way too early still?
Not, I mean, you can price whatever you want, but is it bringing revenue? No. Now, if the revenue is 10 years away for Optimus, and if you talk to Tesla fanboys, they will have a different timeline. Um, Also, the new Model Y that they launched, the cheaper version, it's only down. It's less than $5,000, like $5,000 difference. Like this is a slap on consumers' face. Yeah, if you're selling that car for 25 grand, yes, but seriously, 30 40,000 dollars you're going to spend on a car with those fewer features. This is ridiculous.
Interesting to see what's going on here. just while before we get into Kaye's chart, which is Amazon, make sure you put your ticker requests in the comments down below. We'll get to them in a little bit, in probably about 3 or 4 minutes, I guess, maybe 5 minutes. Yeah, we've got a few coming already, but it's always nice to have a few more. We're looking for a few ideas. I'm guessing with the price action on Friday, people may be just looking away from the market, so they, I'll come back Monday, forget it, which is totally understandable, of course. And with that, we'll jump on to the next chart here, which is Amazon. What have we got for us, Kay?
Well, see, Amazon is in a very, very interesting position. They are coming close to their 200-day SMA. Currently, they are trading below their point of control, which is around the 221. So the funny thing about Amazon is this is one of the only Max 7s left, which is a laggard for the entire year. If you look at the year to date performance of any other Max 7, they have all done pretty well, barring this and probably Meta in the because it has really pulled back in the last couple months. So I think if you are looking into getting building a position on Amazon, these are your opportunity levels where you should be adding Amazon to your portfolio. Because I am actually continuing to build my long-term position by adding at these different levels. And on the trade side, because as I was mentioning a bit earlier, that because I sell a lot of options, my Amazon covered calls all expired worthless because of this massive pullback. Otherwise, I was about to sell Amazon at 220, but because it closed down 220, it was closed below 220, I kept all my shares. And so I've been in this trade multiple times since July. And that's why I was telling Shaun a little bit before the stream. Is like this is getting at a point like I'm getting frustrated not to sell Amazon at 220, so because I can free up some of the capital to invest in other places. But this is what life is, right? So now we'll basically go ahead and open another covered call whenever we see a green day on Amazon to get those premiums. I'll pretty much keep the 220 as is.
Awesome, fair enough. I think from a shares point of view, for me, I'm looking at that 207 level for sure. For kind of
Yeah,
a swing trade entry, because you've got that 300 moving average there.
exactly.
We're kind of on the edge of breaking a shorter term trend line. So if you drew a line from this low here across the lows we've got on the screen, we're
Mhm.
kind of breaking it ish. Obviously, one candle is not a break. We need two candles for a break at least, three ideally. Um, but yeah, if we do get that break, we might get a sharp drop to that kind of 207, maybe even 205 just below it. 'Cause obviously, these moving averages aren't perfect.
And
So
listen,
yeah,
if you get to the 205, then that gap fill is very close by, actually.
yeah, down here actually at probably 196, that sort of
Mhm.
area.
Mhm.
Um, that would be, yeah, so maybe you could start position here. If it was to continue going lower, that would be, you could fill out the position fully there as well. But yeah, I would definitely be looking for that 207 level to start off. I think the 300 moving average is slightly different on my chart because I
Mhm.
use the EMAs. So
Yeah.
just be careful when you're doing your chart analysis, everyone. Obviously, you might look a bit different to this, but of course, your strategy is your strategy. We're just here to have a little bit of commentary on the charts we've got in front of us. Last comment I'll make is that 300 moving average, we do have touches in the past, as you can see with my cursor there. So it does like the 300 moving average. If we can get there, I prefer it there, should we say? Yeah,
Now, and keep in mind, right, when the stock is at 300-day moving average, it screams buy if that is part of your long-term strategy.
yeah, yeah,
Or
definitely.
even for a swing trade, that's screaming a buy right there for companies like Amazon.
I think it'd be interesting to see what viewers. So the viewers that are watching now, put in the comments what kind of Mag 7 stocks are you looking at? Because we've got obviously quite a few that are slightly lower valued. You've got Amazon, Google. I think even Tesla's kind of not it's not flat on the year. I can't remember what it is on the year.
No, actually,
Um,
Tesla is actually up on the year. Tesla is up 2.39%. So okay, so not that great, but Meta is down year to date. No, actually, Meta is up 20%. I take that back.
yeah. So I'm
Amazon,
pretty sure.
Google was pretty much down the entire year, and then the recent price action really
Yeah, true,
blew up,
true.
right? So Amazon is down year to date 1.38%.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna catch up. It doesn't have to catch up. It can continue on that kind of path for the rest of the year. But you think it might just level out, maybe just bring it up slightly, especially if the market continues going up. I know it had a bad day Friday, but generally we're still trending upwards.
Exactly. And then also, this is again, I'm not saying this is for a day trade stock, right? We are not talking about day trading here. We're talking about swing trading. and we're
Yeah,
talking about long-term investing.
exactly right. Okay, we'll jump into the audience request then. We've got a few on the screen here, so make sure they keep coming. We will get the chart off if I could do that. There we go.
Do you want to start off with Wix first,
Yes, actually, that's a good idea. We'll start with the VIX.
and then we can go through the tickers?
So this is the daily chart I've got up on the screen here. Obviously, a really big day on Friday, but in the grand scheme of things, that's actually not that big. I don't know if you use moving averages. I don't really for the VIX, but you can see if you did, you would have a big break to the upside in all of them, and I think also on the weekly time frame. Obviously, it's a bit of a messy one because it chops around quite a lot, but we are, breaking these highs, and if we do go any higher, maybe 23, 24, things could get interesting from a VIX point of view. Do you ever trade the VIX? Because I don't.
Yeah, I mean, this year I haven't traded Wix, but last year Wix was on the trade. I used to trade a lot on Wix, because before we would just like have the 13, 14, and then we just buy those in the money calls and just wait for the spike to happen. Not anymore. This year I haven't done Wix actually that much.
Fair enough. But it's definitely one to look at. And this weekly candle was quite aggressive, given that's just one day's volatility, should we say?
Yeah, and then you could just completely a statement comes out, and then on Monday it could just flatten down back to the 20, the 15, 16 range.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Awesome. That's that one. We do have a comment here from Andrew Sanders. A bit of a long one, talking about the space industry. Personally, I would invest into a company that isn't the space industry at the moment or tech industry. Why? Because those are industries that must be invested in heavily and improved in the next 5 to 10 years to make life multi-planetary. You can't actually see the rest of the comments. We've got this is necessary. This is a necessity. These tax will eventually rise astronomically, especially with the incoming space economy. I can't remember us talking about space, to be honest, but that's the
Yeah, I
comment.
mean, I know that ASTS is a
Oh, that's
pretty
a popular one. Yeah.
it's a very popular stock in the retail community. I think Space back in the day when they were doing those tourism SPCE, the Virgin Galactic was a pretty big
Yeah.
one.
Wow. Yeah.
Um,
I wonder where that is
I know
now.
I mean, our viewers haven't really asked about space stocks that much. I think I don't remember covering space, at least in the last few sessions that we have had. Do you remember it though? I don't think we have covered ASTS at all.
We might have had it once or twice, but yeah, not recently. Definitely not
No, yeah,
recently.
not. So our audience doesn't talk about space that much, but yes, we have had AI. AI we talk about a lot over here on the channel.
So we've got a statement from Trump as well, apparently, according to our not here from True North Sound. A statement came out from Trump. Markets going to rip. Yeah, potentially. We'll see. I mean, he was talking about what was it? I think I saw it earlier. It was about 40 minutes ago. He said, "Don't worry about China. It will all be fine. Xi doesn't want a depression for his country, and neither do I." So it's kind of like you mentioned at the beginning of the stream, kind of dampening things down a little bit. Maybe we get a bit of a pushback up in the markets. We'll see how long that lasts, though. To be honest, imagine. What
Okay.
a what a
Uh,
what a weird couple of days we're gonna have. Anyway, what's next?
Netflix.
Right, here we go. We had a bit of a scandal, not scandal, but a price
No,
reaction to
I think
what
I
was
think
it?
Elon Musk does not have the same level of authority that he once commanded maybe a year ago.
Oh, look
I'm
at
pretty
that.
sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if Elon had was a year ago when you had a before all the scandals of Elon, I think that would have impacted my Netflix a lot more. But hey, listen, uh, the cold season is coming up, right? People are not gonna be out and about that much. What are they gonna watch?
Netflix. And we've got
Exactly.
Stranger Things season 5 or 4, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
When is that? I think this year, right? Sometime this year.
Starts in November and then it finishes in New Year's Eve, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so they're releasing in 2 parts, obviously. So
year to date they are up what 36%, 37% almost.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the screen as well, it's got one of my favorite setups, which is the trend line breakout potential. This one doesn't move a lot either, which is nice, which means you can kind of calculate the entry. So what I'd expect is a breakout here, come back down. Oh, what's going on my laptop? There we go. Come back down, retest the trend line, and obviously make a move higher towards all-time highs. It's not the best percentage, but it's a more solid stock. You don't get such dramatic movements unless it's around earnings, of course, and you do have to be careful of that because that will be just around the corner. I think the earnings date I've got on the screen here is the 21st of October, so that's 9 days, so not too far away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely
I
I'm putting
really,
this on my watch list. Yeah,
I really hope they announce a stock split because it's getting
yeah,
expensive. Yeah, it's
we've been
getting.
saying that for the last year.
I know. I mean, because this kind of incentivizes the retail investor. Like, not everybody can trade a $1,200 stock, but they can trade
No,
a
yeah, of
$100,
course, yeah,
right?
yeah. No, awesome. What's next time?
Next is rubric.
I haven't looked at this one since I got stopped out.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, I really like the stock, but I have not traded this yet because I've been busy with CoreWeave a lot. So I like the stock though to trade.
See, we had this range that we had for a little while. No, Siri, no, go away, go away. We had this range set out for quite some time, since June, really, all the way to middle part of September. We kind of broke down. I think it was redacted to earnings. Yeah, so we had earnings here, and followed by very negative, and we came back up and kind of resistance here as well, and then we came back down subsequently. And I don't know, it's weird price action. I don't know where to go from here. Maybe if we can hold this level of 83, that would be a good sign, and come back up to 94, get
Mhm.
back into this range, and then further consolidate and then make that move to 106. But yeah,
So
obviously Friday's market didn't help that. I don't mind it here actually.
see, they report earnings on 12/10, and we have 16 analysts covering the stock, and every single person has a upside rating on this one. And looking at their earnings beat, they have only been reporting earnings since what, like one, two, three, 6 quarters now. Every single quarter, there's a beat on top line and bottom line.
Impressive stuff. I'm writing this down on my watch list. I forgot my normal notepad, viewers. So Kaye knows this because we pressed live and then boom, I forgot my notepad. So I've got my a temporary notepad here on my right side. But yeah, no, I like the stock. Thank you for bringing this one up, whoever it was.
And
Sorry,
RAM, of course.
Man Ram, perfect. Once again with the
Next,
winners.
next up is another AI Palantir.
Struggling to get through this trend line for sure.
Yeah, this definitely looks like a 190, has looks like a resistance, especially this double top here, right? The 188. Crazy.
Yeah, so you got that there, kind of almost a triple top.
Yeah, actually, if it, yeah, you're right. Actually, we extended. You're right.
Two rough Fridays as well. So last Friday was really rough and the market wasn't too bad. And then this Friday, obviously the market putting that one down probably. Still holding the 20 minute average. I would like it to break the 50 minute average. I think we spoke about this last weekend. I would like it to break the 50 minute average to the downside for any sort of trade opportunity. I probably wouldn't trade to the upside, especially from a swing point of view, maybe on a day trade point of view. But yeah, breaking that 50 to come back down to 156 at least.
The
That's the only
stock.
thing I could really look at, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, if you are a Palantir investor, you want to invest in Palantir, you hope that it pulls down, pulls back, and doesn't chop at this area. I mean, it does
Well,
pay
it's
good.
kind of chopping already.
Yeah, it is chopping. I mean, it's a good it's a good wheel option, but
Is it though?
I
I
don't.
mean, it's quite a large range.
Yeah, no, probably not. Probably not. You're right. No, I'm just looking at the spreads. Spreads are pretty tight, so you can probably get filled quickly. But yeah, I don't know. It's like mm,
If until it gets out of this range in this box, I think I'm not quite interested.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it definitely dipped below the 20 SMA and then coming very close to the 50 SMA. So if that support doesn't hold, Then you have a big chunk of volume coming in around the 150, 150, 160 range. That's where it chopped for a couple trading sessions also before. You
Right.
see that base that formed right at the exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
nothing else to say here. Next up is LUMN. Let's see, what is that?
Lumen. We've brought this one up recently.
I forgot what they do. They like, what do they do? Bitcoin? No, it's a networking. Oh, it's an alternative carrier. Okay, got it. It offers dark fiber, edge, cloud, internet protocol, voice over IP, managed security. Okay, interesting. What happened?
This internet's so weird. It's all over the place. The good thing is, it just kind of sorts itself out.
That's
Um,
great.
I just sit here and wait. I'm just kind of, you know, touching my beard and come back. Um, I missed obviously what you said. I just started rambling and obviously realised I lost
No, no.
connection. So I
So
don't even know.
yeah, yeah. So it offers dark fiber, edge, cloud, internet protocol, voice over. This is basically an alternative carrier in the communication sector. But this is an interesting spot, right? I mean, you have this the Friday bar touching the highs of equal highs of, I would say, you know what, early August, right? No, 8/27, yeah, late August. So if that doesn't hold, then you would target the 20 SMA, the 618 range, or in your case will be a different. Your
Yeah,
internet is,
not too
yeah.
far out. Yeah,
Mm.
I don't. I like the fact it's come out. It's come back down. It's retesting this area. I just wouldn't know where exactly to take the entry, because you could actually. This is where these candles close. So you could actually wait for that 624, like you just mentioned, with the 20 average. I've actually drawn a line here from previous analysis, which I guess you could probably start a position there potentially, but maybe basically anywhere in this box range, to be honest, could be quite good. The other thing to note is actually it has filled the gap that we just made actually at the beginning of the week. So it's filled that gap, actually potentially bounce here as well. So as I said before, you could start a position here potentially. You know, hypothetically, I probably won't myself, given the market conditions, and then add if it does come back down to this sort of area. And of course, a nice tight stop loss around this area of 591. That trade is not too bad. That trade is not too bad. I'll
Yeah.
write it down. But yeah, that's all I have on this one.
Next is VRT. This one we have covered, I think, long time back.
Very long time ago. Yeah, probably around this sort of area, March,
Yeah,
April.
exactly, because that's where I've drawn my lines to.
We should start listening to our viewers, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean
We do mostly.
they have a better pulse on the market. I seems like it.
Even there, I mean, that would have been a nice entry. This trend line
So,
coming down, come out, retest, enter here, and subsequently it's gone up over 100%.
I mean,
Since then.
The April since April lows, this stock is up 239%.
Well, there you go. That says it all. Maybe we should start a viewers portfolio. So whatever they comment, we have to buy them. Probably won't do that, but it's a nice idea for people. Put it in the comments if you think we should do that. What's next? Okay.
Next is APP.
Up loving.
Crazy, huh? This stock is also crazy. Like, I remember the days when people were like super hyped about this stock and they were like buying in the 50s, 60s, and now I didn't even track the stock. Is like what, $500 plus stock. Crazy. 600 plus.
I think we had this last week. I think, to be honest, I think 508 remains my target area for sure. Which, for context, is this sort of area.
I
So
mean,
that's what I'm waiting for.
just
I've
from
got
this
nothing else
year,
to say.
like just from the April when it was $200 stock, it went all the way to 747. Crazy.
That is
Okay,
crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
right. Um, so definitely nothing to add here, right? You probably want to wait.
Yeah, I'm waiting for 508 at the very least. I know there's a 50 move average there, which
Yeah,
you can see on the screen there, but still, it's a bit risky. I know it got bought up in the last time it touched that, but I would prefer, major resistance as my support than, a 50 moving average. It's not everything. So
true. Next is Intel.
this one's been going quite well, hasn't it?
This has, I mean, this is basically a pump from the White House, right? They pumped the stock up.
It's the
And
previous
you
lines.
cannot actually, go against the. I mean, if they're pumping the stock, you just keep making money on this, right?
Look at that on the MACD kind of curling over right there. So it could be a sign of some negative price action coming in the next couple of weeks, at least temporarily until earnings, which looks like it's going to be on 23rd of October there on the screen.
Yeah. And
So
honestly, I think the gap up that was created because of the price action, I wouldn't be surprised if actually that gap gets filled up, um, after the earnings. Because if the earnings is poor as usual, you might see that gap getting filled.
that's a 30% move pretty
Hmm.
much, and that
Hmm.
Kaye just mentioned there. So from these levels, you may not enter right now, but yeah. Okay, what's next?
Okay. There's CoreWeave.
We couldn't go a week without doing 4 weeks, could we?
uh,
I'll
honestly,
let you have this one, Kay. Go for
yeah,
it.
listen, I'm loving this action, price action for CoreWeave. Honestly, I think we do have a. I had to draw the Fibonacci this time, so we are again coming closer to the 50% retracement on 137.70. That's where the 50% retracement is, on the chart, and I think that has bounced very well. There are multiple touch points over there, so. Um, Also, the China tariff is not really going to impact CoreWeave, and I think the negative price action also helped cool off the IV, also the RSI. So unless there is a black swan event, I think we'll continue on this trade on the uptrend. We'll continue selling options at these levels, and if you get more red days, I think buying those leaps over here would
I was
really.
literally just about to say, do you reckon Leaps is a good option for this stock?
Definitely, but not. You need to see heavy selling, and that's when you buy leap, because otherwise what will end up happening is you're probably shedding a lot, you're giving extra money, you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Yeah, so we had a gap fill here. There's a gap fill that's already happened
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
There's a tiny little gap here as well at 95. Um, so in terms of maybe thinking about a leap call for the future, I think for me off the screen, I want to ask you as well. I can see 120, so you've got the 50 million hours there and a bunch of volume. So maybe
Mm.
120 would be a good time to have a look at those sort of options. What would you suggest
Yeah, so
potentially?
I think looking at the 120 option, that's definitely deep in the money. So you're looking at around 86 delta, which means that the
Oh no,
86. Yeah. so
I mean
so
to
go ahead.
I meant to start the leap option when we.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So if you're buying $120 leap, that is the 86 delta. So that's deep in the money. You could do that. I think we lost Sean for a second here. It'll probably come back. But for folks, if you are looking to buy the leap option, I would say anywhere between 70 and 90% would be ideal uh, range, because and then wait for those massive red days, because that will help your price push a little bit down. Let me see if we ping him and see if he is going to be coming back. Give me 1 second. Push a little bit down. Let me see if we ping him and see if he is
If
going to
it,
be back. Oh, you're back, second. Sean. Unfortunately, I cannot share my screen. I wish I could share my screen. Oh, you're back, Sean. Good, great.
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. It just keeps happening. It's really frustrating. I'm
No,
gonna have a look at it tonight and have a look at it. Um,
no worries. I tried my best to talk about the leap option on CoreWeave. But basically, what I was saying was that you buy leap calls on heavy red days, and when you said $120 leap option is basically 86 delta. So that's a great place to start. You could even go a little bit up to maybe a 75, 80 delta. So you'll pay a little bit less on those leap calls.
yeah, that's a good option. I've written it down on my notepad. I've also written out sort internet while I was out there as well. So
Okay.
I need to sort that one out. We have a comment, obviously, on the screen here. Do you trade futures, NQESGD?
I
I
do.
know you don't. I do sometimes. I do the US 100 and US 500. It's just what it is on my broker, but it's pretty much the same. Well, it is the same price action. So yes, I do, but not as often as I would like. Unfortunately, pro fast guy. Maybe in the future I'll get that opportunity. Yeah, we'll be on to next chart here. So we've got 15 minutes left now, so we've got a few
Yeah,
to
so
fly
we'll go
through.
to real fast. BMNR, Bitmine.
Which
Another
one's it?
great.
Sorry.
This is the Tom Lee's Ethereum treasury stock, BMNR.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how I hit the comma there. Well, yeah, look, there's a few lines on there already. We'll get rid of those because they're completely useless. We do have a trend that's kind of taking place there. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's not
I think
perfect, but it's there.
let's look at the Ethereum price right now.
It had a bit of a push earlier, I think, from what I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
tell.
it's back up $4,000. It's up 10% right now.
Wow. Okay, so that might be a reaction to maybe Trump's comments potentially.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I think
Yeah,
everything took a beating because of Trump. So honestly, I think at these levels, I mean, you have the 50 SMA coming right underneath it, which is around the 50.87. Also, good places to sell options on this very high IV. Um,
you
it's
can
a
buy leaps on this as well. I know I keep
yeah. I
saying
have
that,
I
but
have leaps on this one as well. Yes.
yeah, because at this point, this is a good support. Obviously, stop loss just below it. You could have a stop loss of 45, which is a bit big. Doesn't really matter on these stocks. Yeah, I like it.
And see, also the whether you like the government or not, that's a different point. But the point is that they are very pro crypto government. So at this point in time, you could have these fluctuations here and there, 10% here, 10% there. But overall, the trajectory is that the government, the industries, it's moving towards that area. So might as well take advantage on these trends, right? There's no need to resist those trends. You're here to make money.
Exactly. That's what we like to do. That's what
Next
everyone
is
likes to do.
V.
Visa. Really?
Oh, uh, they're not reporting earnings this week, right? Let me
No, the
check.
earnings are 28th of October.
Okay. So they have a 20 down revision. So just be careful on the earnings. I would not be playing the earnings on these guys.
You could play this though. Break of trend line came out, come back down, retested it, testing the 20 and the 50 moving average. A little bit of volume here as well. And the stop loss you could start off with kind of 332. Not the most gains you could possibly get, but doesn't look too bad. Back up to 369 would be 7%. Yeah, it's not as exciting as most stocks, but it is an option that people might get. That's what I've got.
Okay,
Any
next.
any any input here for Visa?
No, no. I mean, honestly, it doesn't interest me that much. These stocks, Visa,
Fair
Master.
enough.
But there's a firm. Somebody asked for a firm, so we can touch upon a firm. It has a broader implication. So let's touch upon a firm. Typical BNPL. I mean, I think from the ethical standpoint, I
Sorry.
don't agree with the stock, but it makes complete sense.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, it gives you the option. If you cannot afford something, you can split the payments. Makes sense. But I think that's just trapping people in, unfortunately. But that's from the ethics standpoint. So you have to keep your ethical mind away from stock investing or trading.
Are we looking for the 65 level then? Or are we just staying away from it altogether? I never really trade a firm, not ever, but
I If I trade, I always trade near the earnings. Let me see. When is the earnings?
while you do that, I'll talk to this comment here. No worries, mate. I trade futures with Wolf in the AM, mostly futures. Awesome. Yeah, I've been there before. Always a good laugh hanging out with those spaces on X. And I enjoy listening to your conversations, different perspectives. Yeah, no, it's always great to get different perspectives because you can get very lost in a chart and kind of keep looking at different charts. At least I can. So it's nice to kind of do these sessions with UK every Sunday, and of course listening and watching other people on the X platform and YouTube platform. You do have to be careful of kind of who you follow, I find. But it's good to get those kind of perspectives. But ultimately, going back to the chart and having a look yourself to kind of add those perspectives and give your own perspective is where we're going for. I did ramble a little bit there, but you can't. There's a message in there somewhere. What were you going to say, Kay? Carry
Well,
on.
I'm going to say that for a firm, they report earnings on 11/7. But thank you, ProFast guy. They report earnings on 11/7. It's like one up revision, one down revision. So uh, I think let's bring this up a little bit closer to the earnings, because there may be an earnings trade that I might want to talk about it. So we'll put that on the agenda. So there's another stock that we have never covered, but I had covered on my channel. It's Diageo. So this is the biggest liquor
Oh
brand
yeah,
in the world, right? You probably know it.
yeah, I do. Yeah,
um, I think Diageo is. I mean, I do have a little bit of more information because some of my friends who work in Diageo, so I kind of know what's going on there. But the general market is, because until this whole tariff situation really resolves, it, but we do have a couple of big events coming up, right? You have the FIFA coming up, so that there's a big push from Diageo on the on that event. So and they really hope that their revenues are going to accelerate during that event, and then you'll have in 2028 the Olympics. So those two big events packed between the next 3 to 4 years is what is, I think, Diageo will be hoping. And then you really need these deals to be done so that things can stabilize. I think until then we will see weakness in stocks like these.
yeah. I'm just looking at the chart here while you were talking about the kind of logical side of the company there, but from a technical point of view, it doesn't look great because it's broken. I mean, the support that's been in place around 101-ish, it's just been broken down the last 2 or 3 weeks, which you just don't want to see. Increased volume though, basically since
Yeah,
last
yeah.
September, well, September 2023 actually.
I
Until we get a
think
break of this trend line though, it's not
see,
looking
from a
great. But
fundamentals, sorry, go ahead.
no, I mean we could see that, like you said, with the FIFA next
Yeah,
year.
I
That could
think they're the
kind of
official
coincide.
partner. I think if I'm not wrong, they are the official partners. Let me check.
Diageo leaps. I know I keep talking about leaps in this.
No,
No,
this is a dividend paying company. So, if you really want to get it, you might as well get the stock so that you can get the dividends and then run covered calls on it. So
yeah.
again, they don't pay you very well in terms of the premium. So this is not the greatest stock for covered calls. FIFA partnership. Yeah, actually, Diageo is named the official spirit supporter. So they are actually supporting the FIFA. They are one of the biggest sponsors in FIFA. So
Right, cool. One to add to your watch list and viewers. I need to go through, we need to fly a few of these. That's really hard to say. What's next? Okay.
Caterpillar.
Oh, Caterpillar, another dividend stock. Back to back dividend stocks. That doesn't happen very often on these live streams. Right. So it's going really well for Caterpillar. I remember seeing this back in 2020, thinking, oh yeah, it'd be a great time to buy this stock. Obviously, I was quite new to the market-ish, around that kind of sort of time, like many others. And obviously, since then, it's gone up probably 400 or 500%. I don't trade this, obviously. I don't really trade many dividend names, but it's really hard to kind of analyze the stock apart from the fact that would you keep adding if it was in your dividend portfolio? Yes,
I
I
mean,
probably would.
absolutely. Yeah. If you are into the dividend world, you're into the long term investing, right? So the whole game is that you keep accumulating more stocks to get more dividend. I think that's the play. So every
Yeah,
time you
and
get So for those kind of viewers, I think you need to understand, your 20 SMAs, 50 SMAs, 100 SMAs, 200 SMA, 300 SMA, those are key points, right? You keep adding. So at 200, 300 SMAs, you add a lot more. You add less at 20 SMA, a little bit more at 50 SMA. So you that's a completely different way of, that's not trading, that's investing and basically trying to get your dividend income up.
Exactly. It had the snowball running downhill. Apart from an investing point, it should be rolling uphill. Anyway, let's move on.
Arm.
This one's been a while since we had a look at this.
Do you trade ARM? Because ARM is not on my watch list. I mean, it is, but I don't trade ARM because I just trade a lot of the AI names.
I have done this. This one's a bit similar to Airbnb. It kind of came on the scene, got really excited for a couple of months, and then just didn't hear from it for ages. And it's kind of in that ballpark. You can see this line here on the screen. So I have traded it in the past, or at least thought about it. Not much going on at the moment. It's very range bound, I think, from a broader perspective. You can see on the screen, maybe from what's that 124 to 166 is a very large range, but we're kind of in that range. Maybe if we get a break above that 170, that would be nice to see. And then we can kind of retrace back up to this previous trend line that I've got on the screen already, up to kind of 205, 206, which is that's not too bad, actually. That's not, pretty good return. That's 22%. That's pretty fair. And you can just have a really tight stop loss on that. That wouldn't be an issue. So definitely one to have a look at. Maybe not for a few more weeks for sure. We've probably got earnings coming up around the corner. Let's have a look. Oops.
It's on 11/5. So yeah, 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, so plenty of time to have a look at that. In terms of right now, I would probably it's in limbo. Maybe wait for it to come back down to the 200 moving average there, which is the red line, or kind of climb back above the 20 and the 50. But until then, it's kind of I'm not interested in this. We have just filled the gap though, which is interesting
Hmm. And then
on the
there's
screen.
another. Yeah, exactly.
There's another one
But
down
there's
below.
a lot of volume at these levels, so you might still see chopping happening until the earnings.
Yeah. Right. So
Next up
that's
is UTES. What is that? It's an ETF, I think.
Burtis Reeves ETF. Not heard of this one before.
Uh, Neither do I have.
I'm on the hourly chart. Oops.
What holdings do they have? So they are. Oh, so okay. So they have Constellation Energy, Excel Energy. Seems like an energy related ETF. Utilities, yeah. So makes sense. Oh,
Chart's doing pretty well. It's coming back down to the 20 moving average and the kind of trend line that we've kind of roughly drawn there. You could probably bring it up slightly just because of the volatility we had in these days, only back in April. We could bring that up kind of middle part of that. Obviously, we do have recent highs here as well on the screen. So, yeah, it's interesting. If you're in this stock and you've been in it for a while, adding at these levels, I would probably give it a miss. Maybe come back down a bit further. 83-ish would be a good time to add, in my opinion. But I would actually like to play this to the downside if it was possible to break the trend line and go downwards. But I don't trade ETFs, so yeah.
um,
Hope that helps.
yeah. Next up is Unity. Let me see.
Okay, right. Look at this then. So we've come up, tried to retest the previous level of 39, broken down below. We've come back up to retest it in a negative fashion, and obviously really rejected that. I'd be looking for a push down to the 200 moving average. What would you be thinking here?
Pretty much. I mean, you may see some trading happening around the 34 range because it does have some volume. Um,
Yeah, true.
but if it breaks over there, and also you see a lot of action on that side. But if it breaks there, then yeah, 200 is the next stop. And then on the earnings, you have 10 analysts, five are up, five are down. So it's like, everybody's just flipping a coin here, seems like.
Yeah, it's been on a pretty good run recently as well. Since April, we're looking at probably 200%, if not more.
Let's see.
Let's
Since
have a
you
look.
asked. Since you asked.
200% almost to the dot.
106% on the
What's that?
dot.
106.
206.
Yeah. So there you go. That was very good, quick maths on me.
This is
Uh,
like a 2020 time, right? No matter which stock you're touching, you're like 100%, 200%, right? Okay, let's move on. Next is Meta.
we'll have to wrap this up in a minute. I've got a few things to do
Yeah,
tonight.
this was the
So
last ticker. I didn't see any other ticker.
oh, yeah, yeah, no, you're right. We had up, I think, didn't we? Which is the
Did we? Yes, we did, and I think I missed it. All right, we'll cover
cool.
app, and we have a Tesla. That's pretty much it, and then we can wrap.
Awesome. Right. So Meta, we are breaking a bit of a trend line, but of course, with this news over the weekend, with Trump kind of pacifying things slightly, we could see a jump back above this trend line. That's kind of what investors will want to see. Lots of volume here on the right side, so getting back above that 720 level will be key. And I don't see why it doesn't just keep powering higher if that was to happen, of course.
I think my only view on this one is that the 50 and the 20 SMAs are becoming a resistance level now.
Oh,
So
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
so you probably will have you need a catalyst which would the earning season is the catalyst, right? I mean, if it doesn't break that, then you can see a continuous downtrend, and it does have a lot of gaps to fill in the 620 range, in the 550 range. Can it happen? Yes, in a downturn, but if we start getting the market back to the bullish, most likely you won't see those gap fills happening anytime soon.
Awesome. Right. What's
Next
next?
up is Tesla. We already covered. So I know somebody did ask for Tesla. We already, Sean, you covered. I think Tesla, if I remember
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
That's my pick of the week. Yeah.
Yep. And then
So we'll finish on up then.
okay.
Sorry, Ryan Del Rosario. I see your comment there. We will not be able to go through those because we have run out of time, and I've
We
got to
actually
log on
did
to my
cover
chart then.
BMNR. We covered BMNR. We had a decent discussion, like maybe about 15 minutes back.
Oh yeah, yeah, fantastic. I didn't even look at the tickets, to be fair.
Yeah.
How naughty of me. Of course, right. So we have up here on the screen, which is it's a penny stock. It's 168. A bit of a rough week in the past week, but it's kind of trailing down to that 200 moving average, which it does like. You can see on the screen. So we're looking for a bit of strength here. I don't hate it actually, even for like a very, very small part of my portfolio. Taking a bit of a punt on this one because you could have just basically a nice tight stop loss around 150, 155, which is really tight. But of course, you have to remain disciplined in these situations with penny stocks. Obviously, we do have resistance in the way of the trend line and lots of different moving averages, which is why I say it's a punt. What are your thoughts on this one, Kay?
I think I'll definitely watch for the trend line, right? For the trend line break. If that doesn't happen, then you have that wedge. So there is going to be some action, right? At this point in time, it's either to the upside or the downside. I don't see the earnings here. Do you see the earnings on your side?
Yes, I've got the earnings for the 5th of November
So 3 weeks.
estimated. They haven't been confirmed, but they estimated that sort of area.
Okay,
So
so
that's the purple line now.
yeah, so that would be basically the catalyst for the stock. I do have to apologize that I did miss Panda Quant AI as a ticker earlier. So if we can cover IBM before you hop off.
Yeah, of course. We'll do that quickly. IBM, it's a bit choppy overall. We haven't covered this one for quite some time, by the looks of it, maybe back in February, March, actually. Do you want to talk to IBM? It's a bit more up your wheelhouse than it is mine, I think.
Honestly, I really don't invest in IBM that much, but I think for every chart that we have looked at, the Friday is the same, right? You see this big red
Yes.
bar engulfing candle for most of them. Uh, Monday is the key, I think, at this point. I mean, would I add IBM here? Probably not. Let's see. When are they reporting earnings?
I like 260. So loads of volume here on the right, and obviously this previous trend line, which is not exact. I've just kind of basically drawn a line through lots of price action, but you can kind of see a few points of touch on. So that could be an interesting thing to add for a longer term. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, no. So they report earnings on 10/22, which is what not next week, the following week, and then you could actually wait for the earnings to play and then add. But because I don't track the company, I don't know whether the company is doing good, whether it's not doing good. Um, so it's very difficult. But I know
I
this
think
is a It's a big dividend stock.
They're a quantum play, aren't they? At least slightly, I think.
Quantum computing. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's like
Uh,
a safer quantum play. And you can see the price action that's taken place since 2024, let's say, from there to 154 to 277. So that's almost 100%. So that's not
mm,
it's not too bad. Maybe if we come, yeah, I like this area of 260 for sure. But like you say, I think waiting for the earnings is definitely the wise choice
yeah, because
for
this
this
is the
particular name.
because they have really transitioned away from those mainframe days to getting into the cloud and then eventually now getting into quantum. uh, doesn't excite me that much in the quantum because there has been a lot of fake plays, at least in the 2020 time, right, with QuantumScape and others. But I know people are very interested in quantum computing.
Yeah, it's an interesting field. That concludes this session. Pretty much. Thank you for all your tickers. I know we missed a couple, I think, towards the end. But we do this every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Wolf's channel and my channel on X. And I think Kaye's channel on YouTube gets posted a little bit later on. So there's plenty of ways to get hold of this stream, and obviously to get in there early as well, to get your tickers in nice and early so we can get to them, nice and early. I'm going to say it twice. And my vocabulary is not so good today, but we'll move on from there. And thank you to Wolf as well for letting us use the platform. Let me get the ticker up at the bottom there. Let's get that going. There we go, at the bottom there, so you can see what's going on. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, you take it away, Kay.
Well, all I'll say is just watch for Monday, right? I think Monday is going to be a
Mm.
key day, right? If we see a bounce back and the administration walks back, most likely we'll go back to like nothing happened. This was a dip to buy. Otherwise, you have the earning season coming up, so eventually once this news settle in, we will probably watch earning season and then we'd probably see the same trend. But from what my estimation is, and I could be wrong, I have been wrong many times, that this was more like a dip, a dip buy. It was getting very frothy, so you got a news on the whim, and then you got this pullback. But we'll see. But watch day by day.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know that obviously if you're day trading these types of candles and this type of price action, the price action we saw on Friday is not normal. We don't normally go down 2-3% in a day. So don't think that, oh, I can make loads of money in a day. Of course you can, but of course it's not always going to play out like that. So just be careful when you're out there placing those trades. Don't get too excited. I know it's very easy to place multiple trades at once. And if for example, if you were going long just before that Trump news kind of came up and you've not set a stop loss, that's it, your account is gone. So these things can happen on day. So just be careful when you're out there day trading. Maybe just take a couple of days out if you feel like you're getting a little bit stressed, a little bit apprehensive about things. Can you hear that dog?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going
I
on there.
cannot. I cannot.
Yeah.
But
But yes,
what I'll say to you, what you're saying is that I think we are in a different type of an environment, right? Where markets do move based on a tweet. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, doesn't matter. That's what it is, right? So you have to train your mind psychologically that this could happen, which goes to show that you need to have a better risk management. So you like Trump or not, Trump is going to teach you how to do risk management in your portfolio.
mm,
Otherwise, you will never be able to trade again in your life.
exactly right. Just stay in the game, everyone. That's the aim. If you can make profits, there's a bonus, and obviously experience will teach you everything. We'll end it there. Thank you very much, Wolf. Let's use the platform. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your support every single week, and we will see everyone next week. We've got a couple of comments here just to end out there. So thank you. Appreciate the stream. No worries. We'll come back next week, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So see you there.